Freestyle turns are an important part of swimming and can make a real difference to swimming faster times. But how do you do them and how do you improve them? Well, you've come to the right place to find out. Now, for those of you that don't know what a freestyle turn is, it's otherwise known as a tumble turn or a flip turn, and it's where you change direction continuously without stopping or pausing at the wall. Doing a tumble turn is the fastest and most efficient way to get in and out of the wall. It involves doing a somersault next to the wall and pushing off in a streamlined position. You then add some underwater dolphin kicks before going into the freestyle stroke, something that the top swimmers in the world are very strong at. So in this video, we're going to take you through a simple 5-step progression to learning how to tumble turn, and they give you 3 tips so you can start to get in and out of the wall during freestyle faster than ever before. The last tip is quite tough, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. When you first start learning how to do a freestyle turn, you should first practice doing somersaults from a standing position. Simple, I know, but actually something very useful to begin with. To do this, start with one arm up above your head to replicate your final stroke coming into the wall. Then, as you're about to begin the forward momentum for that somersault, bring your arm down, tuck your chin and your knees in towards your chest, and curl yourself into a ball shape. The more you tuck in, the faster you will rotate round. As soon as your legs have gone over your head and you've rotated round fully, push off the floor in a streamlined position to replicate the push off the wall. Okay, so one more time. You're starting with one arm straight up, bring your arm down and tuck your chin, curl into a ball, push off the floor straight up. Some swimmers may find that water goes up their nose when doing a somersault. If this happens to you, just make sure you're constantly blowing bubbles out of your nose, as the air from the bubbles prevents any water going up your nose. You could turn it into a little game or competition if you're doing it with a training partner or as part of a group, to see how fast you can rotate round during a somersault. It's also a good way to practice pushing off in a tight streamlined position too, albeit pushing off the floor. After mastering the standing somersault into a streamlined jump off the floor, you can then move on to a horizontal somersault. This involves the same movements as you were when you were standing, but rather than starting and finishing your somersault on your feet, you start by lying on your front face down and then finish on your back. This replicates the same horizontal position you'd be in when you do a freestyle tumble turn. So again, let's follow through those 4 simple steps. One arm straight up, bring your arm down and tuck your chin, curl into a tight ball, and finally finish flat on your back. To replicate the freestyle turn even further, try to finish in a streamlined position after the somersault to get you used to the feeling of where your body and arms should be. The next step after that is where you add a couple of strokes before performing a somersault. Essentially, it's the same thing as before, however you use the forward momentum from the initial few strokes and then perform the somersault and finish in streamline on your back again. This is further replicating how you would do a freestyle tumble turn, as you're now transitioning from full stroke freestyle into a somersault. In many ways, this should be easier than the previous step, as your momentum from the strokes helps you rotate round even faster. The next step is to do exactly what the previous step was, but this time somersaulting right next to the wall and placing your feet on the wall. For obvious reasons, this is a necessary step, as the freestyle tumble turn is performed next to the wall. Even though this sounds very simple, some swimmers, especially younger swimmers, are very aware of where the wall is and sometimes get a little nervous about doing a somersault next to the wall in fear of banging their head. If this is something that worries you, there's no harm in touching the wall with your hand first and then performing the turn so you know you won't bump your head. Doing this gets you used to the distance you need to be away from the wall, and once you're comfortable with that, you can then attempt turning without touching the wall. Once you've got used to doing the transitions from doing it mid-pool and next to the wall, you can progress then onto doing a somersault next to the wall again and adding a push-off after it, effectively now doing a full freestyle tumble turn. Let's not forget the initial stages before this push-off you've practiced throughout this progression. You're still swimming into the wall and finishing with one arm out in front. Then you're bringing that arm down and tucking your chin before curling into a tight ball. Once you've somersaulted onto your back, plant your feet onto the wall like you did previously and then push off. You can either push off on your back and rotate onto your front, or push off straight onto your front, as long as you're in a streamlined position. As you start to get the hang of performing tumble turns, you can then add underwater dolphin kicks immediately after your turn to maintain speed off your push off. Some swimmers like to have a little glide before doing dolphin kicks, and when I say a little glide, I mean like half a second or so, and some like to do them immediately after the push off, whichever way you prefer and whichever way suits you best. You're allowed 15 meters underwater as by the laws in swimming competitions, so try to use the dolphin kicks to your advantage by practicing them as often as you can in training. They are, after all, known as the fifth stroke in swimming. Now you'll get to the stage where you'll be looking to improve and increase the speed of your freestyle turn, and we've narrowed it down to our 3 favourite tips that you will see very quick results from. Number 1 is tucking your body in tight. Swimming is all about being as smooth through the water as possible, and tucking your whole body in tight when doing a tumble turn, especially your chin and your knees, will make you rotate at the wall much faster. By tucking your body in as tight as possible, it reduces your surface area through the water, which therefore means you're creating less resistance against the water. It also gets your legs over and onto the wall faster, increasing the speed of the tumble turns and therefore meaning you'll be able to push off the wall much quicker too. Tip number 2 is holding your breath in and out of the wall. Now, if you're looking to increase the speed of your freestyle turns, try to hold your breath on the last couple of strokes coming into the wall and the first couple of strokes coming off the wall. By doing this, it will keep your body and head alignment straight and therefore make you swim faster and smoother through the water. Doing this also creates less drag as it has fewer pausing points or dead spots, which can happen when you breathe. Turns are not the time to take a rest or to take it easy. They are the second fastest parts of a race, behind the dive. So if you keep your speed going into the wall, you then maintain that same speed or momentum coming off the wall. Think of it as someone throwing a ball against the wall. The faster you throw the ball against the wall, the faster it will come back. Likewise, the slower you throw the ball, the slower it comes back. Turns in swimming are exactly the same. And finally, number 3 is getting your distance away from the wall correct, otherwise known as spotting the wall. Finish your swimming too far away from the wall and you'll glide for too long into the wall and slow down any momentum you have. Finish too close and you won't have the space to tuck into a tight ball for the somersault phase. Use the lines on the bottom of the pool to help guide you as to when the wall is coming up and practice the distance you need to perfectly perform your somersault. Once you get the hang of the distance and the space you need, using the stages we've already gone through, you can adjust your stroke as you're swimming towards the wall. If you want a bonus tip to improve like a pro swimmer, perform an extra fly kick on your breakout stroke. This is a trick that a fair few of the top elite swimmers do, and it really does make a difference when you transition from your underwater phase into your freestyle stroke. Like I said at the beginning, it's very tricky to get the hang of at the beginning, but you'll get used to it by practicing lots in training. I would say the most important thing is timing. Timing for this is absolutely key. The best way I could describe it is by performing another dolphin kick midway through doing your first breakout stroke after your underwater phase. Maybe you could think of it as doing a single stroke of butterfly. You should aim to do that dolphin kick just as your hand is about to extend down to your hips, much like what you would do when doing butterfly. This then gives you an extra bit of power and momentum as you start to do full stroke freestyle. Okay, so there's our explanation of how to do a freestyle turn and our best 3 tips on how to improve and increase the speed of those turns. We hope you found it useful. If there's any other tips you guys have to improve your freestyle turns, leave a comment below as there are plenty of other ideas out there. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, hit that notification bell, like this video, and of course please subscribe to the channel to stay up to date in the world of swimming. You can see more videos we've uploaded here on the split screen. Until then, I'll catch you on the next one.